is a door not really a door? Well, when it's a metaphor.
Today we're going to be looking at the incredible world of doors and locks.
Welcome to the Homebrew Crew. I'm Tony, this is Sean, and today we are looking at the incredible world of doors and locks.
Yeah, so this is a file by Martin DeVico, and this is a little interesting. When you're reading it, it's not like your typical supplement where you have a bunch of monster stats and NPCs and things. It's really looking at doors and locks in your campaign and how you can kind of use it to more than just being a device from going from one room to another.
You know, what's funny is I looked at this the first time and I went, oh, okay, so it's a compendium of different traps you can have on doors. I was wrong.
Yeah,
I was very wrong.
When I was first reading this, I was like, okay, I'm sure there's gonna be a bunch of roll tables and stuff like that. And there are roll tables, but it's almost like you're reading like this really high educational, high level article from like a journalistic magazine.
It is. And in fact, it's kind of an interesting thing because that is kind of how we want to break this down, right?
Yeah.
So starting off with this book, it's not only about doors. I mean, yes, doors are there as part of the whole preface of it. But really, it's about a new way of thinking about how you're describing the surroundings to your players.
Yeah, doors are more than just a device to use to go from room to room. They're really there to kind of give insight as to what the environment is like, give insight to the character that built that door, why that door exists, and things like that.
And it's interesting because you have to look at the difference between maybe an orc that's building a door and a wizard that's building a door.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because it's not really a supplement just for players. Of course, players are going to be thinking, oh, you know, because this door is this way, I think of that character now. But as a DM, it allows you to kind of flourish your ideas and kind of make you think differently even as a dungeon master.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's kind of part of what it is. You have to look at what the intent of the door is. Why was this door built? Obviously, it functions to keep one person in and another person out. But what are the functions of the actual mechanisms that are there and why would it be built?
Yeah, and it's cool because as you're kind of reading it, the author actually gives a lot of different examples as to why a door would exist. Kind of going back to your example about like the orc and the wizard, obviously an orc and a wizard would probably have very two different intents on why that door would be there.
That's right. I mean, if you really think about it, an orc making a door a lock, for example, could just be the fact that he pushed something up against the other side of the door.
Right, we were assuming it's a typical orc. And then, you know, with the wizard, obviously you'd probably expect something different. You know, maybe they're trying to keep something out of there and then you have this complex, arcane, magical lock. And, you know, besides the fact that it's a puzzle for your party, it gives insight to that wizard, like knowing like, okay, this person is much more intelligent, smarter, and they have like a more immaculate reason for what they're doing.
That's right. I mean, if you went to a door and when you turn the handle on the door, confetti sprayed out at you, what do you think the characteristics of the person who made that door are? It doesn't necessarily, you know, it's not like, oh my God, he's an evil wizard. This guy has some humor to what he's doing.
Yeah, or someone will be very, very worried. So there's a couple of different reasons and different methods that you can use to kind of like flourish those characters as well.
But the thing that I really like about this, Sean, is that it kind of gets a DM into thinking about how they describe their scene and what it actually means for the person or the characters that are involved in that world. You know, a wizard's tower is... The way you describe the wizard's tower says a lot about the wizard itself. And I think that's the thing to take away from this. That's the most important thing for this.
Yeah, it's interesting. We actually not too long ago did a video about traps. And even when you're thinking about doors or traps or other little things in your campaign, even the littlest detail when it comes to a door or a lock is something that you can explore, and it's something that you should always kind of like take into consideration when you're writing your story. These little devices can kind of act as a way of almost showing, not telling. Instead of saying like, oh, the wizard is evil, you can, you know, describe how the door is. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, it doesn't have to be a door. When I said in the beginning, when it's a metaphor. But yeah, those things and how you describe it, like, you know, an evil wizard, you might have, you know, skulls and things around it or what have you. That's true. But, you know, it really goes into his depth. And I think the last thing that we kind of want to go about is this thing does actually provide you with examples of doors. Don't worry, you know, it's not just a whole philosophical theory on things. It does show you, it has a bunch of roll tables in it. about what sort of things you would want on a door and all of that too.
Yeah, there are some great roll tables in this, and actually one of the ones that I really like is that you can actually roll on which skill that character is probably proficient in, like wisdom, charisma, or intelligence, and it actually goes into how that would affect the door mechanism, why they would have the door, how they would hide a spare key. Like if it's a really intelligent character, they'd probably hide it in a little nook or cranny, or if it's a high charisma, they give it to someone that they trust. And I like this because, again, like going to all these different things about stats and story, it gives you more reason to think about all these different things and why it would be in the story itself.
It does. Now, this is a fantastic supplement. You can pick it up again. That's The Incredible World of Doors and Locks by Martine DeVico, and that is on the DM's Guild. We'll put a description or put a link in the description below.
Yeah, and it's a really great read. It's something kind of refreshing when you're kind of going through all these really awesome adventures and monsters and items in DM's Guild. It's kind of nice to read something like this that's a little bit more kind of like a philosophical essay.
Yeah.
So I highly encourage you to check it out if you get a chance.
And if you've got something you'd like to send us, you can go ahead and send it. I think it's over here. Yes. Right down there at dmbrewcrew@gmail.com. Just put a little tag in the description, submission, and we'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
And we'd also like to thank our Patreons. You can see our brand new set behind us, all of our nifty stuff behind us there. That's thanks to people like you actually sitting here and supporting us on the channel.
Yes, we do appreciate all the contributions. So if you do have the opportunity to do so, we always appreciate if you do join a Patreon. We do have some behind the scenes content as well. And of course, we do have our own content on DM's Guild. That's another great way to support us as well. So if you do get a chance, you can check out what we have on there. Every little bit helps the channel a lot.
Yes, and remember, the best campaigns are always the ones that are homebrewed. So until next time,
keep brewing.